So I'm curious, when you guys were watching film on Sundays and some of these runs that he would have where you'd think a defender would have him bottled up and then he would somehow, some way find a way out of it and either score a touchdown or get a 25-yard run when it looked like a 2-yard run. What was film like the next day with him?
Um,
The
I
film
don't,
room, how did everyone react?
we don't really like boast each other up like that. We gotta keep everybody humble. So we're not sitting here saying you're the best thing since sliced
Yeah.
bread. But obviously when a great play is made, I'll look at her and be like, that was a good play. It could be,
Yeah. I do have to ask because it was, again, one of the most memorable games in college football. And I started the show that way, that Texas game. When you're in that game and you're in the moment and they're up quick, I think it was 14-0, but before you could blink. And then the game starts progressing into what it becomes. What was that like for you on that sideline as that game completely switched into a point where you guys had a chance to win?
Yeah. I mean, the whole time I was like, we just need one play to pop. Like we need a big play, or we really didn't even need a huge play. We were playing pretty well. We needed to finish in the red zone, which we weren't. And that was the most frustrating part, is we just needed to finish in the red zone. And so we would, we'd get there and then it wouldn't work. And that was frustrating. And then, I remember there was I think it was about 6 minutes left, and I was looking at everybody and I was like, yo, we go down and score right now and get a stop, we'll get the ball back. And y'all think this game's over, you're crazy. And we went out there and scored, pretty quick. And that got the juices going. And then we got a pick, came out and then scored again. And it was just like, it just fell into our laps how it was supposed to. And, it was the craziest high. And you just get everybody to believe that that's even going to happen in the first place. And, then you always got a chance if everybody believes.
How long did it take to get over it?
The loss?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm still over it.
Yeah. Why?
There's just so many plays that could have been made, out there. And, it was like, you always have plays that you're supposed to have made in the game or that's supposed to happen, but there was so many that it was ridiculous, on my part, on other people's parts. And
yeah,
it just felt like, we were just so close so many times that there should have been one of those things that went right and that would have changed the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like that. And just gives me all the more belief this year that, it's plenty possible to go above and beyond what we did last year, but that can't be the focus every day.
Yeah, 16 returning starters. That's among the most in the country. So when you talk about that foundation, how do you use last year, what happened in the Texas game to set as a foundation now when you guys come back to camp?
Yeah, I think that I actually believe that you shouldn't really talk about it too much. You shouldn't talk about last year or
Sure.
what your expectations are this year. I think it just goes back to, you'll bring it up every now and then and say like, hey, we can't let this happen again because, by putting in the work. So that's how you get people to work out harder and buy into the process more. But you don't implement it and say like, hey, we did this last year, we're going to do this year, because you don't know. And, a lot of things fell into our lap last year, and, we squeaked some games out. So like I said, I think the biggest thing is just locking in every single day and not worrying about anything else.
And where have you tried to get better this offseason?
I mean, every aspect of the game, always. But, I think the biggest thing is that I took huge leaps in this offseason was my quick game stuff in spring ball. I was really dialed with protections. I see the run game way better and get us into better plays, and then just, not forcing the ball down the field and getting to the check down on first and second down passing and going to the next play.
So, and your weapons, everyone's going to want to know who's going to replace Cam Skattebo. How does the offense in your mind stack up with its skill position at running back? I know Jordan Tice is going to come back from an injury. You get Kanye Udo, a transfer in from Army. Raleek Brown, he's a kid that we haven't seen much from yet. How do you feel about the offense coming into the 2025 season?
I feel great. I mean, it's my second year in the system. I'm 10 times better than I was last year. JT wasn't playing at the end of the year. We got some new wideouts that can really go. And, we're just going to be a little bit different of a team. We're not going to have to ground and pound it on first and second down all the time. We're still going to have that identity of running the football because that's what we do. But we just got to play to our players' strengths, and I feel like we're in a really good spot.
Who are you most excited about? I'll ask you this way, because kind of last year, I mean, Cam fills that bill, but you do as well. You kind of just burst onto the national scene and popped, and people got to learn more about you. Who do you believe is set up on your team to kind of have the same season?
A lot of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't just say one guy, Jaron Hamilton, Malik McLean, Kyson Brown. I think Raleek Brown also, can really pop, and we got a bunch of guys, so we're gonna see. Everything's fun in practice, and you can play really well in practice, but once the lights come on, we're gonna see who really turns on.
All right, so we're gonna end this with some rapid fire, and again, being from Arizona, going to Arizona State, I'm qualified to ask these questions, and they'll be fun. But I'm gonna start with Kenny Dillingham. How many energy drinks, coffees, or Red Bulls does he have every day?
I don't know if he has any, maybe one coffee, but that's just how he's wired.
What's the funniest thing that he does? What's the biggest thing that no matter what, what's his crutch? What's he say? What's the one thing he always says over and over?
Oh, I don't know if he has a phrase that he says that's funny, but I think just the way that he goes about the team meetings, he'll just always call out somebody and say something about them, and that always gives everybody a laugh.
It's amazing how much energy he has. So he just points at a player and goes for it?
Yeah, I mean, you're never safe. If you posted something on TikTok, he'll put it up on the screen and make fun of you, or he'll put a picture of me and say I look like Justin Bieber and stuff, so it's just funny stuff like that.
What Arizona State quarterback have you been compared to most?
Probably Jake Plummer.
Yeah. And have you guys had a chance to meet and talk?
Yeah. We text all the time, and he's got a business that he does, and it gives me some supplements to help my body recover and stuff. So that's my guy.
Yeah, and I mean there are striking similarities from your guys' ability to get out of the pocket, get out of trouble, use your legs to create bigger plays. It really is remarkable seeing. And he was there at the game on the sidelines, and from where I was, relative to see, I could see him reacting to every play you made, and it was fun to watch as someone who's grown up watching Arizona State football. What's the one thing you love most about Tempe?
I'd say just the scenery.
Yeah,
and the weather. I mean, that's the best part about it. It's beautiful.
What's the one thing you like least about Tempe?
I'd say it's a little dry.
Yeah, you're up from Oregon, man. You like those green trees and you like the humidity.
Yeah, no doubt.
If it's 10 p.m. and you're hungry, where are you going to grab something to eat?
10 p.m.
Where's your late night spot?
I like to order from Moxie's.
Okay.
It's in the mall, but I'll just DoorDash it.
Yeah. And when's the first time you got recognized as Sam Leavitt, Arizona State quarterback, walking around campus?
First time? Oh. Right as I got named starter, and maybe at West 6, I used to live out there, so just in the elevator or something.
There was no hey, is that Justin Bieber on our campus?
No, nothing like that.
I said, listen, good luck this season. We're looking forward to watching you play again in Arizona State football, play again. Give me something I can feel.